Whenever you're working on a Premiere project, you're going to be working inside some sort of workspace. Now, Premiere comes with all sorts of preset workspaces, but they're also highly customizable so that you can make and save your own. So right now, we're looking at the default workspace, and it has 4 separate windows. Here's the first one, second one, third one, and fourth one. And this particular workspace is known as the editing workspace. But let's look at some of the other ones so that you can see what these workspaces allow you to do. So I'm going to go to the window menu and go to the very first selection, which is workspace. And right now you can see that editing is selected. And then there are several other preset workspaces. So let's go to the assembly workspace. You can see that it has a different window layout. In this case, we have 3 separate windows, 1, 2, and 3. And you can see that each one of these windows has several different tabs. Sometimes a window will only have 1, but let's take a look at this first window. You can see that we have the Project Window tab and the Media Browser tab, the Markers tab, and the Audio Clip Mixer. So this first window actually has 4 tabbed pages inside of it. And that makes it possible to find all sorts of different functionality without having to call up a different workspace to get to it, because all of these tabbed pages have all of those functions underneath them. So let's take a look at the second window here. You can see that it has 2 different tabs. It has the Program Monitor and it has the Source Monitor tab. And then in the sequences, we only have 1 tab, which is the Sequence tab. So that's the assembly workspace. Let's take a look at a couple more. Let's go to the audio workspace, and here you'd have things like the audio mixer, you'd have the program monitor and the sequence, the effects window so that you can add audio effects to your audio clips, and so forth. Let's look at one more, because this is one I really, really like, which is called the Editing CS 5.5. And it looks an awful lot like the old Final Cut Pro workspace. So if I call that up, if any of you have used Final Cut Pro 7 or earlier, this will look very, very similar to you. So you end up with a project window over here, the media browser window here, source monitor, program monitor, and sequence. And the Editing CS 5.5 workspace is one I use an awful lot because I'm a Final Cut Pro user who moved to Premiere Pro. But because I have to use a very low monitor resolution to create these tutorial courses, I'm going to choose the editing workspace because that will make things a little bit easier for you and me to see. So I'm going to show you another way to call up workspaces. You can come to the upper right-hand corner and choose any of your workspaces here. So I'm going to go back to the default, which is editing. Now, if you did customize your workspace, you might want to save it. For example, if you needed this to be over here and you needed these windows to be somewhat smaller, then you could save that as a workspace by going to the window menu, going to workspaces, and choosing new workspace. And that will make a workspace in this list that has the windows configured the way that you want them. But there may come a time when you think, oh, I don't want to save any of those edits to the workspace. I just want to reset it back to its original look. So you can go to that same window and choose Reset Current Workspace, which I'm going to do now so that it puts everything back the way it was in the beginning. So it's going to ask me if I really want to do that. I'm going to click on Yes, and that will arrange that workspace back to its default arrangement. Now in the next tutorial, I'm going to talk about how to use multiple monitors.